Spawning up in the top left-hand position as the green Protoss player. Representing ESC, it is JackO. And his opponent down in the bottom left, it's the purple Zerg. With the clan tags, RVG, it is Littlebuga. Going down on Frost. Frost is a cool map. I am a big fan of it. I really like it actually. Basically, I just think it's a nice big map. In these spawn positions, it's quite interesting how things can go on. Because of the fact you've got this little entryway here, you've also got the move through. The watchtowers in these spawn positions aren't as critical to hold as in other spawn positions, just due to the fact that a lot of the play will come through this way. Specifically from JackO, there's lots of pylon placement positions you can get through, which can be really problematic for a Zerg. But Zerg player probably is going to be going down here, looking to expand down to this third, since he's going to get an early scout out with this Overlord. Sometimes you see Zerg players expand to this third just because they've scouted to the right first, and it's just a little bit awkward. It's not really what you want to be doing, but for the most part, this is looking to be a fairly normal opening at the moment. We've got, of course, the gateway coming down. This pylon, it's a little minor thing, but it's creating a block between the Vespian geyser. Just means that any kind of running or dancing around isn't going to have too much fun or be too effective. Meanwhile, over at the Zerg side, just getting the hatch first down. So this could be hatch pull. That's the first and predominant thought process going through my mind. Hatch pull, very good against the gateway expand. But that hasn't been confirmed yet. So the Overlord coming up. Now what the Overlord may be doing is that second hatchery or third hatchery coming down. Maybe delayed just until this Overlord either confirms or denies that there's a fast expansion. But no, the Zerg player just going to be playing things safe, getting down the spawning pool there, playing it on the cautious side, doesn't want to be doing anything too awkward just yet, playing it safe. This is, if I'm not mistaken, a best of one, although I must confess, I think I actually forgot to check that, which would be really bad. So I'm trying to load up the rules just to make sure that I am correct. Yeah, it's, if I'm not mistaken, yep, it's all best of... Wait, best of one, I think. This is really confusing. Okay, this is very confusing, how it's all going. But anyway, I'm not quite sure. But hopefully the players do know. I know the later stages are all best of three, but according to the bracket, it's not actually telling me, which is a little bit frustrating. But yeah, as it goes at the moment, very normal game. Cybernetics core is coming out at the front. That creates a nice little opportunity to wall off and play things safe. This Overlord really actually the critical piece of the puzzle. Just saying, okay, well there's no expansion going down yet. That means that I don't need to panic and take my third for the moment. Not that you'd be expecting to get a third base down anyway, because if you have gone a hatch pull, you don't tend to get the third until about the, well, to be honest, about the 6-7 minute mark, somewhere around that kind of field, because if you rush it out, you're very exposed to some timing pushes, say with a couple of Stalkers and the Mothership Core, but you don't have enough units. And the reason hatch pull works against the gateway expand, but hatch pull and then a quick hatch doesn't, is because when you've got hatch pull, you've got that third hatchery up in time to make a lot of Zerglings. It's the additional lava that make it viable and doable. So these two Lings are going to join their brethren just to go and get a little bit of a scout out here at the front. Gonna see, okay, is there anything going on? Really, they don't need to get over there or reveal themselves yet because of this Overlord. So the key thing they should be doing is just keeping a good little watchful eye out for any kind of pylons. But we're not going to be seeing that because it's actually a Stargate coming down, but that's in vision of this Overlord. The Overlord can actually be seen as well. So this is a very bold move, just saying, I'm going for a Stargate. I'm getting it down. Of course, Oracle is really quick. Not a harassment potential. Maybe seeing some of that, especially in these spawn positions, you can come through. But obviously, if you do get something like that coming out, it is a bit of a risk, because by getting the Stargate, you're very vulnerable to Ling Hydra play unless you tech very quickly behind it. So the reason you're vulnerable to that Ling Hydra play is because you don't have any splash damage for a long period of time, and Gateway and Stargate units are exposed to Ling Hydra due to the high DPS. But for the moment, Littlebuga not looking to do that, just getting down a third hatchery, playing things on the cautious side. And there, just as expected, the Oracle is coming down. It's going to be trying to do a little bit of harassment damage, but since it's been scouted, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Zerg chuck down either a Spore Crawler or just reposition this Queen into a safe spot. There aren't any more Queens coming down as of yet, so a Spore Crawler would be wise, because head-to-head, an Oracle beats a single Queen, so you've got to be cautious for that. We've got a couple or one additional Gateway coming down, and also a pylon right to the edge here, so I'll be interested to see what comes through there. For the moment though, Overlord coming in, just trying to get a little bit of information, and, well, As they come in, this Oracle gonna just try and deal a little bit of harassment damage. May try and snipe off this Queen actually. Could go down towards the third, but that isn't yet finished. So the main base vulnerable, but down come the Spore Crawlers. And these Spore Crawlers are buying time. It's going to be very difficult for one Oracle to deal much damage. Now, could pick off the odd unit that decides to stray a little bit far away. Queen coming forward, but with the 2 Queens there, it's going to be tough to make this work. The Oracle being forced to retreat out, but the Queen's doing a good job damaging it considerably. And therefore, it has no choice to retreat way out of this battle. Maybe to come back and fight another day. It could be kept, say, down here. That's what you see a lot of high-level players do when they go Oracle openings. Is just try to keep them alive so they can come back to harass at a later stage in the game. Hallucinated Phoenix, though, is quite important at this stage. Just to get some scouting information, we can see that the Zerg player getting really quite ahead in terms of the drone count. And that's all fairly normal because 3 hatches are up, you're going to be flooding with drones all nice and safely. So where do you go? What do you make happen when you are at this stage? Well, really the big thing is just trying to make sure that you don't get caught off guard. This lair has now been scouted, so it's aware that it's coming down. The Rotoron has been seen. And the single evolution chamber. When you see the single evo, you can generally deduce that it's gonna be the single melee attack as opposed to the armor, unless it's a lot earlier. If you see it a lot earlier, sometimes you get the armor if it's gonna be some kind of Ling Roach style push, so they both benefit. But for longer games, when you've already seen the lair, it's gonna be missile attack because Hydras are just so prominent in this matchup and how things are gonna be going through. So everything going to plan. Interestingly, +1 air weapons coming through, and the third base on the way for JackO. So, this is getting scouted really quick. Overlord coming straight in, instantly aware of what's going on, and this could actually trigger a flood of units, and they're already on the way. 15 roaches got started the second this Overlord was in range to see it. And the reason this is viable is because if you're getting a third down at quite an early period as a Protoss player, after going through an Oracle opening, guess what? There isn't going to be much on the ground, and that's the right assumption to make. There's only 2 warp gates and a Stargate in terms of production. There's not very much to deal with these roaches. If Hydras are added into the mix too, that's when things get catastrophically difficult to deal with. And essentially that's because the Voidways in low numbers won't be able to kill the Hydralisks quickly enough. Oracle has come found a nice little spot to start picking away at these drones. Only racking up 8 kills for the moment though, so gotta keep a good eye on what that's going to do. It does get taken down. Simultaneously though, 3 Voidways focusing the lair. This could be a nice little pickup if it's able to get it. Hydrogen is now done. Only 1 Queen picking away. The Spore Crawler has been taken down, but another one is getting made. Is this going to be enough? Well, the mass recall will be ready. The roaches need to go to the third, but the natural base looking to get taken down. So with this natural getting sniped off, these roaches have got a big part to play. They need to take out this third, otherwise suddenly we see a Zerg 1 base down. So JackO in a good spot. Littlebuga got to take out this base. Should be able to now though, unless that mass recall came down very quickly. The roaches dealing a good amount of damage here. There's very little that can really stop them. Phone overcharge has been triggered, and now of course the Void Rays coming in. The Void Rays will shred through these roaches pretty quickly, but can the roaches take down the Nexus first? That's got to be their aim. They are going to succeed in doing so, and that now means that the roaches, while they will get cleaned up, has certainly leveled this game out a bit more. Yes, a base went down for both players, and that probably favours the Protoss being on equal basis. But well, as I cough, if this does keep going the way it should do now, it's relatively an even game. The worker counts are very similar. Both players are reassessing and re-establishing their third bases, but what I really want to see from the Zerg is getting a 4th up fast, because you know this third's going to be coming back down again. The Overlord hasn't yet confirmed it, but I'm sure it will soon. But you've got to make sure that you're able to stay economically ahead, and pumping units in preparation for a potential attack may not be the best way to go. But JackO, he's going to be feeling quite happy. He's got +1 air weapons and +1 ground weapons for his army. He's got a good number of Voidways, so he can shred through those roaches. All he needs is to get Templar Archives off the back of the Twilight Council in order to get some storms, and then suddenly the Hydras aren't a threat either. And just as I hoped, a 4th base is now getting established for Littlebuga. So, where do you go now? What do you do? Well, first, make sure you keep scouting, and that's exactly what JackO is going to be doing. He's getting the information he needs. When is this base back up? Okay, it's back up now. I now know that this is where suddenly the Zerg's economy is going to be looking a lot better. It's where he's suddenly going to be able to spend a lot more money on production, getting a larger force out, and I should therefore be quite cautious. The positioning of this army is good. It's able to defend the third and the natural. The only concern is if it were to get attacked from both sides, there would be a large surface area available. But JackO should know, just by the timings and the damage he's done previously, that it's unlikely for a Zerg player to be able to have enough units to go about that effectively. And if he did try to do so, well, the sentries are there ready to force fields. But these 4 units are the absolute critical part. High Templar out, but Storm not yet done. Once Storm is finished, suddenly the Zerg player has a tremendously harder job to try to make this work. And that is because the Storms will shred through the Hydralisks and weaken the Roaches quickly enough for the Void Rays to clean up the rest of them. So, with +2 ground carapace coming down, 2-1 upgrades currently for the Zerg up against the 1-1 bump with the +1 air weapons as well there. It should be very interesting to see how any engagements go down, but for the moment it looks like Littlebuga looking to just wait for the moment and say, okay, I can't engage as of yet, I'll get my Hydra speed because I don't want to move off creep, and just try and get this 4th base established nicely. The other interesting thing, of course, is that the Stargate's coming down. The reason that's really interesting is because it's the second one. Void Ray production is not being stopped. There isn't a switch into Colossi or anything like that. It's just mainly a Void Ray army with some High Templar in there to deal with these Hydralisks. So positioning is going to be really key for both players. But specifically, the Hydras need to be spread out. If they're clumped as they are now when some storms start hitting, it's going to be a very rainy day. And to be honest, it'll be quite crushing. But oh my goodness, we've got a fleet beacon coming down. Please, JackO, make carriers. Make carriers. It was just the other day where I tweeted about it. I don't cast enough games with carriers. Even StarCraft got in on that, tweeting me a meme of the number of games cast with carriers is too damn low meme. But well, we might be seeing that get rectified, and I'd love to see some carriers. It makes me very happy. But of course, worker count pretty much equal, which does favour the Protoss player. These two Zeds are doing a really good job. Just checking there's not any ninja expansions coming down, because you don't want that. That'd be bad times. Fleet Beacon is now done though. We could see, of course, the +2 air weapons get started up fairly quickly. And we may see some carriers as well. Please let there be some carriers. It would make my day. Go on, do it, JackO. JackO, make some carriers. We'll keep a good eye out. But anyway, +3 ground weapons is on its way down. The army moving forward. JackO 182 supply. Capped at the moment, waiting for some additional pylons. But still, good size army. It's going to be difficult for the Zerg player to engage this head on. Needs to be very cautious not to get stormed. That would be really quite catastrophic if the Hydras went down. But a decent amount of money in the bank for the Zerg player, going to be able to remax or at least get close to getting up a good size army that has to deal significant damage, specifically taking out these Void Rays if he can, because they're just going to be able to do so much. More pylons coming down, that'll end the supply block pretty quickly for JackO, but is he going to opt to get any carriers? I think not, unfortunately, which does make me a bit of a sad panda, unless he's going for some kind of ninja tech switch down the line. Spire is on its way because, of course, Mutalisks would be very effective against these Void Rays. And, well, it's just pressure being piled on. A handful of Zealots as well, heading down towards these fringe expansions. But now engagement coming down. Force fields aren't the greatest. The Storm's not quite hitting the mark just yet. Doing more damage to the Protoss than actually to the Zerg. But now a few Storms dealing a bit more damage. Those Storms are right on the money. And the Hydra numbers start to dwindle. Another great few Storms are hitting. And this army evaporating to the fight of the forces. And, well, Void Rays dealing a good amount of damage here, and suddenly there's not much left for the Zealots. Just tearing through these bases, it's looking good, but there are 22 Mutalisks on their way. Will that be the saving grace? Well, there's only a handful of Void Rays, 1 Stalker and 1 High Templar, so actually this could be a stroke of genius coming down from the Zerg, because there's nothing to do with these Mutas. Suddenly Phoenix production has been started, and if we take a look at Vision, JackO did know that the Spire was in construction, so maybe now realizing, oh dear, this could be a problem. Of course, Phoenix range is also coming down as well. God, imagine Phoenixes with a speed upgrade. That'd be terrifying. But Mutalisks, they are already here and they are dealing the damage. Gonna be able to start picking apart this base. Storms just trying to hold them back, but this is a lot of Mutas in total. There are 24 of them just tearing through everything. The Void Rays would struggle to engage. The Archons could do an okay job, but how many Phoenix are there at the moment? Well, 2 are on the field, so they could kite if the micro is perfect, but they'd have to kite for a damn long time. Back they pull. The Voidways are helping with this as well. A couple of cannons picking up a few Mutalisks here as well. More Phoenix getting Chrono boosted out as quickly as possible, but a big flood of Zerglings heading in towards the 4th base. There's so many Zealots there with good upgrades that it may go quite well. The Archon gets taken down very quickly. The Voidways are faring okay just because the numbers of them, but it's the Zealots coming in to try and deal with these Feelings. JackO is going to be victorious in this game, and will hopefully now move forward, as I believe it is a best of 1.